All right, hey everybody. It is Tuesday, November 7th, Election Day in town, by the way. Welcome to the TED Show, episode 56, with one of my best buds, fraternity brothers, Carson Shaffer. Finally, get him on the show. I mean, I've only been begging for how long?
Long enough, 56
I've been
days.
Terrible. Yeah. 56 some. Let us know that you can hear us, because we are doing it back out at the table. So I've listened to what you guys have said, and a lot of you like it back out at the table because you like the energy. So we're going to give it a whirl and see if you can hear us. It's pretty loud, a little loud in here today. But let us know that you can hear us. Thank you guys for joining, and thanks for being here finally, right? I know, brother Shaffer. Who knew? When we met at the club, hey Tracy, I didn't know you are a Sigma Chi until how long? I mean, it was months and months, maybe longer. Because
like
I don't wear my. You sound loud, but it's super loud in the lounge. I know, Eileen, right? So we're gonna have to talk loudly. Which, if you know Carson, you know that is not a problem. But I don't wear my fraternity ring anymore. I used to, and that's how people used to know me. That's saved somewhere in some jewelry box. But it was so cool to know that you're a Sigma Chi too. I love meeting Sigma Chi's out. So now that we know they can hear us and we have to basically scream over these people, tell us the story. So
hold on, I have a question. You need an announcer.
I need an announcer.
Somebody like from the confines of this fabulous citrus club in beautiful downtown Orlando, it's Ted Bogert, the host of the TED Show.
I like that.
You know,
it's kind of like, remember when what was his name from Laugh-In used to do from Burbank? Are you old enough to know?
Yep.
Eileen, maybe he'll sing a rock song. She wants you to sing a rock song. Eileen, if you pay money, we will do that for you.
I take PayPal.
It has to be cash.
You could be the Sigma Chi who's never dry.
Oh my God,
Ted
that's a hashtag.
Bogert.
All right, so we're getting off topic. My bad. So tell us a little bit about you. I know the story, but they don't. People see you up at the Citrus Club. They see you out at events, but they don't know the background. They don't know you're a Jersey boy. They also don't know that you sing. They don't know you're a veteran. So let's do a little bit of the intro stuff so people know where you're from, how you got into the armed services, all that good stuff. So, and I'll interrupt and redirect if I need to.
You will.
I will absolutely not. So here we go.
Well, born and raised in South Jersey. Grew up on a boat in Maryland, was a liveaboard boater for a while.
What was it,
Liveaboard.
A liveaboard boater. Is that like on a yacht?
Liver.
Oh,
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
One goes up, the other goes down.
I get it. Why that? How did you get into that?
My dad was in the PT Navy in World War II.
Thank you for his service.
Loved boats. And so my mom's a World War II vet also.
That's amazing. I did know that, but that's awesome.
But they met at Ohio University in front of the movie theater on Valentine's Day, fell in love, and sent their little boy off to Ohio University where I...
Which Ohio? Is it the Miami of Ohio that Sigma Chi's at? The Ohio State? Or
Ohio
another?
University in Athens.
I gotcha.
And I had a good time. I had too much of a good time.
Well, it was the 50s when we went to college.
Late 40s.
Maybe 60s, I don't know.
And so after Ohio University told me I was welcome to come back after a year had elapsed.
Oh, you had a little thing called probation, or you had to take time.
I needed to live my life a little bit, to mature. One of these days, I will be mature.
I haven't hit it yet. I think it's overrated.
My girlfriend broke up with me, my band broke up with me, and a buddy joined the Air Force. And it seemed like a great way to get away from New Jersey, so I joined the Air Force.
You sure that's not Stripes? Isn't that movie Stripes?
I could do one push-up, which is why I joined the Air Force.
I love that.
And they sent me to Dover, Delaware, 75 miles from my house. I wanted to go overseas. I wanted to see the world. I was an hour from my house in Jersey. And I got to spend 2 years in Central America, which was a blast. Got to see a lot of the world that I didn't know existed. made me really appreciate what we have here.
Understood. I agree.
And got out, went to UCF for electrical engineering, and met my wife.
She's beautiful. We love you, Cindy, by the way.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you for putting up with me.
She had the quality I always look for in a woman.
What's that?
She didn't leave.
She's considering it right now.
I'm sure she is. And got involved in IT because I got tired of waiting for the IT guy to show up.
Isn't that the worst?
Oh, IT people are terrible, man.
No, we love you. You don't say that out loud for people who don't know IT, because we're afraid there's an IT mafia that will blackball us and we won't be able to get any IT help.
They're the best. But I'm a scuba diving instructor.
Wow.
I was the Country Music Association Entertainer of the Year for 1994 for the state of Florida. Because you would naturally assume. That's my background.
Country music. Yeah, from basically Philly, which is South Jersey. You were
All of those.
Oh, that's country?
In a way.
I need to drink more of my alleged coffee. Hold on. Cheers. So wait, I missed the Sigma Chi part. That's important to me. It's all about me, apparently.
I was wandering around pretty drunk, and I came upon the Sigma Chi house in Athens. And I went in, and I was home.
I love that.
What an incredibly great group of guys. Pretty alcohol-free. I'm sorry, I meant the alcohol was free.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, the alcohol was free.
And that's pretty
Allegedly.
much all
That was back in the 60s when we all went to college.
Yeah, and when they had hazing,
Yeah,
unlike today.
I was not hazed at UCF. Were you hazed?
I did the parallel railroad tracks thing where you're
I don't
not
know what
sure
that
you're
is.
on the track with a train.
Oh, no, I wasn't. UCF was awesome at the time. I still love John Rankin and Joe Hartman. We were born out of a 60s hippie group, Sigma Chi, and there was no hazing. I was not hazed at all, not even remotely close. I love you guys for that, by the way.
If anybody from Athens is listening, I hate you for what you did. The military seemed easy, although it was the Air Force.
Oh, I
So
know
it was easy.
You know, you still have so much to do with the Air Force. But so you went, but you also had, is combat the right word? You had experiences there that are serious stuff. You weren't just, it wasn't all song and dance, pretty stuff.
No, we.
And you don't have to talk about it.
No, that's all right. 218 Marines got killed on October 17th, 1983 at the Cobar Marine Barracks and the port mortuaries at Dover. And I was up for the base airman of the quarter, and they said, boy, an Air Force Commendation Medal would really help. Why don't you volunteer for the detail? And I did. And I will say the nightmares went away after a couple of decades. And
Understood.
but we took care of all your Marine brothers. And so it's a different kind of experience than the rest of it. And it really brought home what we do in the military and what the cost is.
There's such a cost. There's a sacrifice and a cost that I think most civilians, most people who aren't in it or around it or affected by it understand. But you all understand. I think people want to, which is why I try to do everything I can to support anything veteran related. But I think in general, people cut the check, want to do the salute, love the flag stuff, but they don't understand really what a sacrifice and a cost it is for all of you.
For the last 7 years, I volunteered at the Orlando VA, first at Lake Baldwin, now at Lake Nona, at the domiciliary, which is the residential treatment center for alcoholism, not like us, narcotics, PTSD, anger issues, and now they've added in mental health. And what I do is homeless people, everybody's been homeless, it's there. And homeless people aren't just invisible, they're also silent.
Right.
And I'm a Toastmaster, and so I help them learn to speak again, because for some reason the psychiatrists, psychologists, and counselors want them to talk. And when you haven't said 3 sentences in a row in years, you're not very garrulous. And so I get us in a room, shut the doors, nobody but veterans in that room.
Well, we've talked about this, so that's important because there's a camaraderie trust level there that you can't get if you haven't served or been in. We're golden. You're fantastic. No.
It's a local number.
So it says live video interrupted. And I have it on Do Not Disturb, people, so I don't know what happens. But we talked about this because I have said, well, I would love to come and sit. I'd love to partake. What can I do to help? But in that circle, there's a bond, and you can't get in unless you've experienced something similar to what they have, what you all have. And I understand and respect that.
The way I explain it to people, because I have people asked to come in and help all the time, and I think the highest compliment I was ever paid was someone said, you do not have the seed of condemnation in you. Because, sure, if you weren't there, you don't understand. And so I had a woman say, oh, I'd like to come and help. And I said, well, it's kind of veterans only. Oh, well, that's okay, I'd like to help. Okay, some of the stories are kind of hardcore. Oh, that's okay, I'd like to come and help.
Right.
You would be okay with hearing a story about how someone machine gunned 50 women and children because the captain told you. And she goes, oh my God, that's horrible. And I said, yeah, that's what the guy who did it on orders from the captain
is still living with.
Who has this movie playing in his head constantly wants to hear. Oh my God, that's terrible what you did.
Right.
That's why it's us, because we understand what the people on the sharp end do.
Correct.
And it extracts a cost. One of the things that happened 2 weeks ago was we had every war movie you've ever seen has the little skinny Italian guy from New York, right?
Always.
Well, what you don't realize about this little skinny Italian guy is he's a very strong Catholic. And we had someone tell a story about how, if you remember, Idi Amin
Dada.
Yes.
Uganda.
Yeah, Uganda. They were bringing supplies in, and some kids were running to get the supplies, and this guy came up with a machete and killed a child right in front of him. And he shot the guy. Did the right thing, would have done it again, but it has absolutely haunted him the rest of his life.
Right.
So when you see the little Italian guy in the movies, what they don't show is how much his religion plays a part. And even though you did the right thing and you probably saved a lot of children's lives, the guilt just eats them alive. And they turn to drugs and alcohol as an escape route.
Which is what you deal with in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that there's like this, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know somebody could tell us the percentage of veterans that are homeless, that represent the homeless population is off the charts. And then the percentage of veterans who are in drug and alcohol treatment and or intense therapy, there's this line from, and I talk to veterans about it when I have a conversation. There's this line from A Few Good Men, and it's Jack Nicholson, and it's one of my favorite lines, and it's you can't handle the truth, and there's so much truth in that. I believe, not knowing, I'm just saying from my perspective, and we sleep at night, and you all have to do so many things that we would not understand how to figure out how to handle. So thank you for your service. I think it's amazing.
You're welcome. By the way,
yes, tell me.
Civilians, and we've talked about this in my VA group, civilians tend to go, oh, thank you for your service. And it's the most superficial thing you can imagine.
It's like when somebody dies, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah,
Virginia,
Virginia the Marines over here nodding.
My kid just died. Thank you I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that must be terrible.
It must be awful.
So the best thing you can say is when somebody says, oh yeah, I was in service, go, thanks, man. And that is so much better than a thank you for your service.
You hear that, people? That's awesome.
And yeah, just say thanks and shake their hand and be honest and thankful for it. I'm surrounded by Marines.
There's a transparency there that's important, and authenticity, which we talk about on the show a lot, is be authentic. Don't just say it. Please, don't just say it. All right, so you do more work. I want to talk about Tigers work. You do a lot of work, and we'll talk about technology in a minute, but we're on veterans and military right now. So one of the things that you do or have worked with, become involved with, is a service that utilizes tigers to help with combat, PTSD,
Emotional
anything,
trauma.
any kind of emotional trauma at all. And of course, your specific interest is veterans who have trauma, which I think any veteran who has served outside of the Florida state probably has some sort of trauma. But talk about tigers. Like, that's such an interesting thing. I would never think about that. Until you brought it to me, I had no idea. So how did you get involved, and tell them a little bit about the tigers?
Well, I met a guy named Kevin Rose, and Kevin found out, you know what mindfulness is? When you're aware of the moment, you feel you're breathing, there's no future, there's no past, it's only in the moment. And Kevin found that if you've suffered trauma, if you're face to face with a tiger, you're not really thinking about the past, you're not really thinking about the future, you're thinking about the right now.
Right.
And what happens is you learn how to do that. You learn how to go to the right now. So the way the experience works, it's catalystrefuge.com.
Catalystrefuge.com, and we'll post it later.
Oh, yeah. And you bring a veteran up and you say, okay, think of something stressful. Okay, you got it? Yeah. Are you there? What do you got? I'm at an 8. Okay. This is Maui. She's our Bengal tiger. And they start getting into it, and you can see everything stop. And they're just concentrating on the tiger or the animal. We have several animals. And
how close is the animal? So you've gotten you've gotten them to the frothy part where they're thinking about it, they're reliving it, they're experiencing it, and then you put them in front of the tiger. Is the tiger behind a cage? Is the tiger close to you? Can you touch it?
You're inside the first cage, not inside the second.
Okay, but it's still there. It's close.
And now they're rescue animals, so they're not vicious.
Right.
However, it looks like he wants to hug me. Well, it does, but if you get hugged by a tiger and it digs in the claws, it'll puncture your lungs.
She's like an ex-girlfriend I used to have.
Or the ex-wife, yeah. So you're in the first cage, you're this far away, and what is so incredible is the tigers sense your inner struggle, and they sense your emotion. And when you walk up, they're wild animals, and the trick with them is that they can sense danger at a half a mile, and the failure to do so, it's fatal.
Correct.
So non-spoken communication is all they know. So when you walk up and you've thought of something really stressful, the tiger's pacing back and forth. It picks up on it.
It can feel it.
Yeah.
The tiger can feel it.
Unbelievable. And as the veteran calms down, looking at the tiger, because it really does take your attention. If you've ever been a foot away, it's
your mind
else.
is completely off of what you had on your mind.
And you calm down, and the tiger slows down, and you calm down more, and the tiger slows down, and when you finally become centered, the tiger will lay down next to you in the cage. And we had our Black Panther, and I had him completely quiet. I was sitting there, we were really communicating, nonverbal communication. And Kevin goes, think of something really traumatic. And so I thought of something like that. That instantly stood up, Black Leopard, and started to pace. And it was really an incredible experience to see just the thought going through your mind, how that animal would pick up on it. So it's a biofeedback machine in the shape of a tiger.
It's amazing.
And it really helps when you go through it with all these animals. And they're graduated levels of animals. You start out with cat, and a few smaller animals. You work your way up through, panthers, monkeys, jaguars, and you get all the way up to the tigers and our black bear. And when you're done, you look at the guy or the girl and say, "What's your stress level now?" And they go, "It's a 0." I remember when I did it the first time, the answer was, "What's stress?" And so over and over and over again, they go through this experience of becoming stressed, dropping the stress, become stressed, drop it. And they learn how to deal with it and how to drop that stress. So when they feel stressed out and they feel that stuff start to well up inside, you can go back to the tiger and become focused and centered in that moment, and that'll drop it away, and you can always go back to it. It's incredible.
Like I just think that's such a powerful thing because, as you know, because you've been in the group sessions, a lot of it is not having the tools to deal with what you're feeling or thinking or the experiences you had. And so to give them a point of reference of, all right, this is how we biofeedback's great. You're calming your own blood pressure down, you're calming your own heart rate down, you're calming your stress level down, and it teaches you to do that. Because none of us want to deal with the 22 suicides a day or whatever that horrible, terrible statistic is, which our friend Jose Belen talks about a lot. And it's just so heartbreaking for all of us that are on the outside, because we don't know what to do, we don't know what to say, we don't know how to, the thank you for your service. I'm never going to say that again. I'm going to say thanks and give you a hug or punch in the arm or
Buy us a drink.
That is so easy in my repertoire. Done. All right, so
I got one last thing.
No, you got plenty of time.
My wife is a nurse.
She's on, by the way. Hi, Cindy.
Oh, hi, Cindy, and I'm sorry about what I'm going to say.
And I think
here.
Cassie's on too. Callie, I'm sorry.
Callie, you're supposed to be in a job interview.
Maybe she is. Sorry, Callie.
Unless you're in the interview and you're showing them this, and that's great. Cindy is a medical person, and she's always so positive that, even if you're going to die tomorrow, they're still, if you really work at it, you can get better.
Her. She's awesome.
And we had a woman that came in, Lieutenant Colonel, that was in charge of a triage hospital in Kandahar province. And for 2 years, 18 hours a day, all she did was decide who lives, who dies, and the dying scream their way out next to you. Raging alcoholic. I mean, really professional alcoholic. And so she's learning how to cope and how not to drink. And there's a part of me that I've talked to with Cindy about where I go, start drinking. Here's a bottle, man. Wipe the memory out. These guys that are addicted to heroin because they've done these heinous things, just blot it out. And so as a layperson who's just a veteran, I look at them and I really understand why they're doing this. And of course, Cindy as a medical person says, no, we can help them. And I'm just going, just blot the memories out. I did for a long time with alcohol.
So I think that there is something that has to numb the pain, and and that's in anything, but we're talking specifically about military right now. When you have pain like that nobody else can understand, you have to figure out a way to deal with it. It could be blotting it out, it could be blocking it out, it could be taking to drugs or alcohol, it could be denial, or it could be repeating the problem or repeating the insanity that you went through, which is why I think we see so many vets that kill themselves, that just can't take it anymore. And we don't want that anymore, which is why what you do, the Tiger services, the groups at the VA are so important, which is why all of us who are big on veterans, you included, we want to provide more services that actually make an impact, not just the fluff junk that we see all the time. And that's what you do. You do that on pretty much a daily basis, in my opinion. So
it takes another vet. That's what Jose does. Is we had a guy in one of his groups that was contemplating suicide, found out about Jose's group, came there, met his brother and sister soldiers, and was way better off when he left. And so maybe it was 21 that day, and that makes the whole thing worthwhile.
That's huge.
And to have someone who understands your story is really, I think, what a lot of people are looking for. Just someone who understands that they can talk to.
People in general, I think, need to feel heard and understood. Whatever that means to them, you might not be able to give it immediately, but if you can just be present, I talk about this a lot on the show, authentic, present, in the moment, you have to be that for people. Put your phone down. If somebody's sharing a story with you,
I think I got a Facebook
they're sharing, you
message
probably
here.
do. Yeah, well, that's what happens. And I think we're so conditioned to be like that, like it's acceptable. And then people feel completely disconnected, which is what, I'm not picking on the millennials or the group younger, but I feel like they're really kind of rebelling against that now because they do feel disconnected. We've had a lot of millennials on And the thing that they say the most is we don't have the relationships. We have them in a different way than your generation. I'm like 5 generations from them, but
6.
your maybe 7. Your generation does, because you know how to talk to people. If you put some millennials in a meeting, they don't know how to have a discussion. Like a meeting's it's fearful for them. So I think that if you could just for a moment put the phone down and listen, and then when you go to a charity event, be present at the charity event. It's one of my pet peeves at charity events. You go. I know you spent your $30 to $200, but please go and engage with the people who you are raising the money for, instead of making it just a social event. Big pet peeve. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. So
I'm having an event. It's $200 per person, and I'd like all you and your friends to come. It's tomorrow night. You can just pay now.
Fantastic. Is it? I hope I can pay in wine, because that's about, or coffee.
Coffee. Coffee's always good.
Cindy says, hi, honeys.
Hi,
We love
honey.
you, Cindy. All right, what do we need to wrap up with? Because we're at 30 minutes.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
To get away from all this depressing stuff, I'd like to talk about...
It's amazing, and I appreciate you having the courage to share it, because I think people need to hear it. So it may be sad, but I want people to know. They need to hear it.
Yeah.
So
I
thank
want to
you.
end on a happy note.
All right, let's end
Although
on
it's
a
kind
happy
of like
note.
a bizarre happy note.
Uh-oh. It's not a happy... Well, I won't.
12 years ago, I had a heart attack, died, came back on the second shock. For the medical people, 100% stenosis of my LAD requiring shock twice. And a friend of mine said that I was an arrogant asshole engineer. Hard to believe that I could ever be like that.
I've never seen you like that, but
And-
let's say that that's possible.
And it changed fundamentally who I was. I think everybody who knows me before and after would agree. Because what I learned is that it's friends and family and nothing else really matters.
Agreed.
And if you're not enjoying the moment right now, then when? You know, the Jerry Rafferty song Baker Street, you know, just
I
one
love
more
that
year,
song.
just one more year and then you'll be happy. One
Yeah.
more year and then you'll be happy. You'll wish your life away year by year saying, oh, I'm going to be happy if I get the car, if I get the job, if I get the house. Whereas be happy now. Be happy, you know, sitting here with my brother Ted, you know, enjoy the moment. If you're in traffic, turn the radio on, hear a song that you really like. Try to enjoy it. When I came back to my business after having a heart attack, I fired a whole lot of customers because I looked at them and I said, look, I don't know how long I have to live, but I don't want to spend it this way.
I don't want to spend it with you.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you treating me like this.
Right.
And
It's the way people treat. So why would you want to be with that and have no money's worth that?
no, it's really not. What's funny is everybody thinks I'm wealthy because, oh, it's easy for you to have this attitude, Carson. You get
People
all this
think
money.
all I do is sit up here and drink all day.
Well, no. You eat every once in a while,
Oh,
like
there it
once
is.
every couple of days.
I tried, man. I tried. But I agree. So people think you're wealthy, and so they don't understand the things that you're going through to get to where you're at and what you've been through.
And we sat up here with the Citrus Club in 2008, and I would sit here with people going, I'm gonna have to sell my $450,000 house and buy a $300,000 house. And my children are gonna have to go to a slightly less expensive private school. And
I agree.
you were here,
I was.
You remember.
I was totally here.
and you know, and they're getting divorced because 2 houses are way less expensive than 1. And you have to enjoy life. You have to enjoy the moment because one day the moments will stop.
Yes, they will.
And like the Bible says, like a thief in the night. And nobody lays on their deathbed saying, I wish I had worked more. You want to lay on your deathbed surrounded by your friends and your family and then say, I buried the money in, and drop dead.
Or, oh my God, he's finally going to go, is what my family's going to say.
You're not alone.
That 5th liver he has. All right, so today was awesome. Thank you so much for being on. I love you guys. You're so awesome.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
guys for supporting. Oh, you're nice and cold. So we're going to post catalystrefuge.com on the website. We'll post your technology, whatever you want us to post. Carson's amazing. And then what do we need? Virginia's right back there. Oh yes, so tomorrow night, my wonderful friend Suzanne Oliver is having an event for heartofafighter.org. It's a veterans event. It's at Harry Buffalo, which is on Church Street. So even I can walk from here. Yeah, if I can walk. No. I might get 4 steps on my step-o-meter, whatever it's called. But yes, thank you for reminding me, Virginia. We love you guys. I'll have the winners for the trivia contest by Friday. Thank you guys for yesterday. Thank you for being on here. Thank you, Virginia, for helping us. And we love you. We'll see you tomorrow. And you just hit the finish button.